From the moment Emily found the tiny, shivering cub on the roadside, her life changed forever. It was raining hard that evening, the kind of storm that blurs the line between night and day. The cub's fur was soaked, its breathing shallow, and its eyes, bright amber, locked onto hers as if pleading for help. Emily didn't hesitate. She wrapped it in her coat, brought it home, and promised it safety. She named him Kai. At first he was smaller than her cat, curling up in a basket by the fireplace. Emily bottle-fed him every 3 hours, whispered lullabies to calm his cries, and even placed a small pillow beside her own bed so he would never feel alone. Days turned to months and Kai grew, fast. His playful nips became stronger, his leaps more powerful. Still, Emily treated him like a child, believing that love could tame anything. Her friends warned her, "Emily, he's not a pet. One day instinct will take over." She would laugh it off. "He's family," she'd say. And for a long time that seemed true. Kai would nuzzle against her legs, follow her from room to room, and rest his massive head in her lap while she read. But there were moments, fleeting, almost invisible, when Emily caught a glint in his eyes that made her uneasy. It wasn't anger exactly, more like something ancient stirring beneath the surface. By the time Kai turned 3, he was over 400 pounds of raw muscle. Emily had converted her entire backyard into a secure enclosure, lined with tall fences and reinforced gates. Neighbors would gather just to catch a glimpse of the tiger, who seemed more like a gentle giant than a predator. Some even called her the Tiger Mom. Then came the night that changed everything. Emily was hosting a small charity gathering at her home to raise awareness for animal conservation. Laughter and music filled the air, and guests marveled at Kai from a safe distance. But one visitor, a man named Victor, leaned too close to the fence, holding out his phone for a selfie. Emily rushed over to warn him, but before she could speak, Kai moved, faster than she'd ever seen. It wasn't a roar or a violent strike. It was sudden, silent, and chilling. The sheer power in that movement froze everyone in place. Victor stumbled back, unharmed but shaken, and Emily quickly led Kai into his enclosure, her hands trembling. She laughed it off in front of her guests, but deep down, she knew something had shifted. Over the next weeks, Kai became restless. He paced his enclosure at night, eyes fixed on the shadows beyond the fence. Emily spent more time with him, trying to soothe the unease she couldn't quite name. But the bond they once shared felt different. Then, one quiet afternoon, Emily entered the enclosure with his lunch as she had 1,000 times before. The air was still, almost heavy. Kai stood in the far corner, his gaze locked on hers. She smiled, called his name, but instead of bounding toward her, he lowered his head, muscles tensing. It was instinct, pure, unstoppable instinct that broke the fragile illusion. The next thing Emily remembered was waking up in a hospital bed, her body aching, her mind replaying the last moment in fragments. She had survived, barely. The officials came, the reporters followed, and soon the story spread everywhere. People called her reckless. Some blamed her for raising a wild animal in a human world. Others pitied her, saying she had only tried to love something untamable. Emily never saw Kai again. But even as she recovered, she couldn't bring herself to hate him. In her heart, she knew he hadn't attacked out of cruelty. He had simply remembered what he was. And as much as it broke her, she realized that sometimes love means letting go, even if it takes losing everything to understand it.